Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, where the skies were painted in hues of gold and the rivers sang melodies of ancient tales, there lived a young prince named Elias. He was no ordinary prince, for while others sought glory in battles or riches in treasure, Elias found his joy in the quiet corners of his castle, where he crafted a world of his own, a world made entirely of paper. This is the tale of how his paper kingdom came to life, how it faced peril, and how Elias learned the true value of creativity. The grand castle of Eldoria stood atop a hill, its towers piercing the clouds. Inside, Prince Elias sat by a large window in his chamber, sunlight streaming in. Around him were stacks of paper, pots of paint, and tiny brushes. His hands moved deftly, folding a sheet of paper into the shape of a castle. He painted its walls with golden ink and added tiny flags that fluttered in the breeze from the window. Elias was not like the other princes. He had no interest in sword fights or royal banquets. Instead, he spent his days creating a miniature world, a paper kingdom. There were forests with trees so delicate they seemed to sway, rivers that sparkled with silvering, and a grand palace with spires that touched the sky. Each creation was a masterpiece, a reflection of Elias's boundless imagination. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Elias placed the final piece, a tiny paper crown, on the head of a paper king. He stepped back to admire his work. The kingdom was complete, a perfect little world. Suddenly, a soft golden glow filled the room. Elias blinked in astonishment as the paper figures began to move. The king stood up, his crown glinting. The knights marched in perfect formation, and the trees swayed as if touched by a gentle breeze. Even the river seemed to flow, its silver surface shimmering. "Welcome, Prince Elias," said the paper king, his voice like the rustling of parchment. "You have breathed life into us with your creativity. We are your kingdom, and we shall thrive under your care." Elias's heart swelled with joy. He had created something magical, something alive. In the shadows of the castle, a man named Malvora watched with narrowed eyes. He was a courtier who had always sought the king's favor, but the king's attention was often on Elias and his whimsical creations. Malvora's jealousy burned like a hidden flame. One night, as a storm raged outside, Malvora crept into Elias's chamber. The prince was asleep, his paper kingdom glowing softly on the table. Malvora sneered and lit a candle. "If I cannot have the king's favor, then neither shall you," he whispered, holding the flame close to the paper kingdom. Just as the flame was about to touch the paper, a gust of wind blew through the window, extinguishing the candle and knocking Malvora to the ground. The paper king, though small, stood bravely at the edge of the table. "You shall not harm us," he declared. "The prince's creativity has given us strength, and we will protect our kingdom." Malvora, startled by the talking paper figure, fled the room in fear. But the gust of wind had scattered the paper kingdom, tearing apart castles and forests. Elias awoke to find his beloved creation in ruins. Heartbroken, Elias knelt amidst the scattered pieces. The paper king, though torn and crumpled, spoke softly. "Do not despair, Prince Elias. Creativity is not easily destroyed. It lives within you, and as long as you believe, you can rebuild what was lost." Inspired by the king's words, Elias set to work. He gathered every scrap of paper, every torn piece, and began to rebuild. The people of the paper kingdom, though fragile, worked alongside him. The knights helped fold new walls, the trees whispered advice, and the river guided his brush. Just as the kingdom was nearly restored, Malvora returned, this time with a group of thugs. "Destroy it all," he commanded. The thugs lunged forward, but Elias stood protectively in front of his paper kingdom. "You do not understand," Elias said, his voice steady. "This kingdom is not just paper. It is a reflection of my heart, my dreams, and my creativity. You cannot destroy what lies within me." As he spoke, the paper kingdom began to glow once more. The light grew brighter and brighter, until it enveloped the entire room. When the light faded, Malvora and his thugs were gone, and the Paper Kingdom stood whole and radiant. The king of Eldoria, having heard of Elias's bravery and creativity, declared a festival in honor of the Paper Kingdom. People from all over the land came to marvel at Elias's creations. The Paper Kingdom became a symbol of resilience and imagination, inspiring everyone who saw it. Elias stood proudly beside his creation, the Paper King at his side. He had learned that creativity was not just a gift, it was a responsibility, a way to bring joy and light to the world. And so, dear reader, the tale of Prince Elias and his Paper Kingdom comes to a close. But remember, the magic of creativity lives within each of us. What will you create? What dreams will you bring to life? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe for more enchanting tales. Like this video, share it with your friends, and comment below to let us know what you thought. Until next time, keep dreaming and creating.